I think you've got to take your own recovery into your own hands. Be responsible for your own well-being and your own journey ahead. Not be reliant on GPs, not be reliant on medication, not be reliant on these therapists, and actually be guided by somebody that's going to be able to help you from having walked that journey. What you've walked it, you've talked it, you know your stuff, you've been there, you've had your ups, you've had your downs. If nothing else is working, you have to give it a go. What are you going to lose?
That's Natalie, a student inside of my Strength and Pain Relief Accelerator program. She was dealing with a prolapsed L4-L5 disc along with some sciatica issues that were ruining her ability to be an available mom, to be a high energy person, to enjoy her hobbies, probably something similar to what you're dealing with now. Today I'm going to share her story, exactly what she did to get out of the chronic pain that she's in, and what she's doing now to maintain her freedom from her symptoms and move towards more and more things. Let's check it out. Where were you before coming into this program? From a perspective of pain, what was your diagnosis? How long were you dealing with that specific pain?
Okay, so I was dealing with it for, how long was it? Would have been 9 months prior to speaking to you, prior to doing this program. And the diagnosis, it took ages. It went from being SIJ problems to multiple things. They couldn't figure it out. Okay. Yeah. I had 2 MRIs done. The second one, done by a spinal surgeon, said that, okay, yep, your L4, L5 is catching a nerve, slightly prolapsed discs, and so that's what's causing the pain. We're going to do these injections, numb the nerves, rah, rah, rah. But I chose not to do that and to do your program instead. But it was one of those, you know, having obviously done all of the listening to, you know, all of the extra material and stuff that you suggested and things, I really understood that actually were those discs pressing on the nerves enough for it to cause my symptoms, which, you know, when I see a chiropractor or physio, they'd look at my scans and they'd go, well, yeah, there's some compression, but it doesn't really marry up with the extent of the pain that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was I mean, obviously 9 months, if you're in a lot of pain, 9 months can seem like an eternity. What was it like just dealing with the symptoms on a day-to-day basis? Because I believe you're a mom, right? So you're busy, busy. Like, how was life becoming, trying to navigate symptoms and also just not stop, because moms don't stop?
Yeah, so it was super challenging, especially being a sports coach and, you know, having to be in that environment, demonstrating movements and stuff became very, very challenging. Being a mum became really hard work, especially because my partner works away for, you know, months at a time. And my pain progressively got worse and worse and worse. And I deteriorated from the day when I did an injury. What I call was my injury. I did a dodgy deadlift. That's when it blew up, but symptoms were kind of building up before that. Yeah, it got worse and worse and worse. And right before, it must have been the week prior to speaking to you, I was at the point where I was pretty much housebound. So I got myself to the point where I wouldn't leave the floor. I would just lay on the floor all the time. And I knew it was bad when my son started not going to, well, not that he didn't go to school, but I was calling up the school saying, hey, he's actually not feeling very well today. He's not going to be able to go in, purely so that I didn't have to get in the car to take him. Oh man,
that's brutal.
I only did that for a week, and I'm very much a mum of like, you've got the sniffles, you're fine, get to school. School will call me if you're really that ill. So he thought it was fantastic. But yeah, I did get myself into a bit of a rocky state, and I thought, no, this has got to stop.
Yeah. And that's scary. I mean, like when it starts to affect your day-to-day life in a sense of that, like that's intense, but that's a survival strategy. Like you're just trying to obviously gain control, but also survive. And pain
Yeah.
And once it gets to a certain level, like it can really cripple you. It could put you in a place where you feel like I don't know how I'm going to keep going. I'm not sure what my future holds. Like it's a very scary place to be. And I completely understand, where you're coming from that. When it came to, once you got into the program, obviously you've seen the medical model, right? You've spoken to these people. You understand how this works. You're a coach yourself, correct?
Yeah.
So
I'm a sports coach.
You understand the human body. You understand movement, exercise. What mental shift, when you came into the program, what really stood out the most to you that you're like, okay, this isn't just another PT routine, right? There's something different about that. What would you say in your mind stood out the most that made it feel different?
For me, what brought me in first of all was having you being somebody that has lived and breathed and understood what I was going through, because nobody gets it.
Mm-mm.
Friends don't get it. Family don't get it. They're like, just bosh some pills, you'll be fine. No, it doesn't work. And I'm still fighting that corner at the moment. And again, medical practitioners, they just don't get it. So to finally find somebody and a community as well that was going through a like-minded situation, but also that stripped it back and made you gave you the material to tune into your body and understand its working mechanisms, how powerful the brain can be, the mind can be. It was just taking it almost like away from a medical diagnosis and just stripping it all back and going, hey, what does your nervous system look like? And, looking at it from other directions other than, here's a stretch that's going to help loosen your back for 5 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think that really is the biggest difference. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun in a sense of stretches and exercises and muscle building and weaknesses. And I think the medical model and just the internet, unfortunately, some people, they're all for posture, right? If your posture, if you have rounded shoulders or text neck or flat feet, like you're broken, you got to fix all this stuff to become okay. And what I've learned over the years and what I've hopefully been able to instill in other people is that our bodies aren't perfect, but what happens is we kind of lean towards too much perfection, which can create problems in our body, which create worry and fear and panic and then weakness. And then, you kind of spiral from a exercise or mechanical perspective. But if we kind of take a step back and say, you know what, like I can be imperfect, but if I can just learn to control the things like central nervous system, how I look at my life, how I move, how I exercise, then you can really create an environment where your life can literally change, right? And you kind of break patterns that become a very painful loop of pain that really just wrecks your whole life. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Really quick, what Natalie went through is what's called my hybrid relief method. And this is a process that I take people, no matter what your background of pain is or your MRI results, it's a very simple process that you can take and apply to your body to see the same results in your own way. Now, if currently you feel stuck, if you feel like you're trying to navigate your pain, you've gone to doctors, you've had MRIs, you've had injections, and none of these things are working, you can see if you and I working together would be a better option for you. How I do this is simply go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. That'll give us a chance to have a live conversation to see if what I do can actually even help you. So if you feel stuck, if you're tired of doing the same old thing, expecting new results, and you want to do something different that is proven, that'll work for you, just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply and let's have a conversation to see how I can help.
What would you say? Obviously, you're at the end of phase 1. You're about to graduate into what's called Accelerator Strength, which is kind of the phase 2, which is not really focusing so much on the pain relief. It's really leveling up and scaling everything up. What would you say now that you are at this point, you're kind of on the brink of graduating, I guess you can say, what are you most excited about from looking back at your life when you were in pain that week when you were calling out for your child because you were sick? What are you most excited about to just get back into and enjoy now that you have control and you're continuously working on getting more and more?
it's just for me, like, it's amazing to see what's changed in such a short period of time, right? 12 weeks is a short period of time. When you actually stick at something, it's like rehab work with anything. All you've got to do is do this for 12 weeks, and nobody ever does it, and they're still complaining of the same problems that they're on. So to think, for me, let's take another 12 weeks. Wow, what the difference could be there. And to let's, you know, to be able to develop my strength back again. You know, I was a huge CrossFit athlete. I don't necessarily want to get back into CrossFit because I don't know that it's necessarily good for my personality, knowing my mindset. But to be able to run again, I hated running, but I would do anything to be able to run. Jump on the trampoline with my son, just, you know, to be able to kind of move in a more functioning athletic type of way would be phenomenal, and not feel, oh, look, yeah, are you okay, Natalie? I know you can't do this because you got your bad back. I don't want to be Natalie with the bad back anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to be normal again.
Yeah. So with this new kind of level of control of your symptoms, and you're working towards becoming more and more pain-free, what is life like for you now? So on a day-to-day basis, if you can kind of think back to that time when you were really kind of sensitive, what are the big differences in your day-to-day life now that you're super pumped about?
I can sleep in my own bed, which has only happened in the last few weeks. I've been going backwards and forwards, giving it a go, and then no, it doesn't work. I'm consistently sleeping in my own bed now. I can sit on the sofa and watch TV with my family. I'm not on the floor 24/7 trying to find a hard surface to level myself out on. I can sit in the car. I can sit at work, not have to work from home anymore. I can go for walks with my family. I can walk uphill, down hills. I'd say what I'm able to do now is completely transformed from what I wasn't able to do 12 weeks ago.
Wow. Before you came in, were you skeptical after having that conversation? That was 12 weeks ago. It's a conversation we had a while ago, but do you remember feeling skeptical at all, or like, this crazy guy on the internet, I don't know what he is going to say he's going to do, but were you skeptical at all, or were you just, no, I was all in?
I was fully committed.
Okay.
I think I had got to the point where, like a lot of people, I tried everything, and everything that I tried was very similar. It was always with some sort of practitioner doing some sort of exercise. And how my full-time job, yes, I'm a sports coach. My full-time job is a health and wellbeing coach for the NHS. So I work a lot with holistical methods, right? And everything that you spoke about and that I, you know, learned with you is very much my mindset. So when we had that conversation, I felt like I was on a path that I believed would work. So
that's good.
And I'm also quite competitive. I'm very competitive.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest. I'm very competitive with myself. So for me, if I knew that I could do this, I mean, I went through those 9 months not really taking any painkillers and stuff like that because I don't like medicine. Yeah. So for me to find a more of a holistic approach, I was like, this is going to work. It's got to work. I'm going to prove everybody that this is going to work. So yeah, I was very much brought into it.
That's good. I mean, and honestly, when I had these conversations with students who, you know, graduate multiple phases, or they just graduate the first 12 weeks and their life has changed, there's always a common denominator, and it's people who are fully committed, who trust the process, whether it's okay to be nervous, it's okay to be a little bit skeptical about something that isn't normal, right? We're kind of all brainwashed to think that the medical model, okay, you're in pain, you go see a doctor, you have a knee situation, you go see a physical therapist, we're trained to do that because it's easier to just be dependent on someone else, right? But if you can learn and educate and invest in knowledge to build out your own ability to heal yourself, become more knowledgeable about your body to serve you years and years and years down the road. Like, that's huge. Like, that's life changing. And the people who have seen the most success are the ones who are like, I'm going to commit to this for 12 weeks and give it my all. Like I'm going to either prove me, that he's wrong, that he can't help people, or I'm going to prove to myself that I'm not broken. And fortunately for me, most of the time it comes out to being proven that you can actually fix yourself and have a completely life transformed through pain relief. So I'm just super excited, super pumped for you. You've earned it. You've done a lot of hard work over these past 12 weeks. And I'm just really excited to just bring you into this next season of strength work and kind of leveling everything up. So all the work was on you. You did it all. Last question. What would you say if someone was on the fence of joining the program? They are skeptical. They're like, this guy's crazy. I don't know about him. He's on YouTube. He's weird. What would you say? Like, what would be your thing if you could sit them down and be like, hey, do it? Or however you would explain that to encourage them to actually take that leap.
I think you've got to take your own recovery into your own hands. So to be responsible for your own well-being and your own journey ahead, and not be reliant on GPs, not be reliant on medication, not be reliant on these therapists, and actually be guided by somebody that's going to be able to help you from a journey what am I trying to say? From having walked that journey.
Yep.
What you've walked it, you've talked it, you know your stuff, you've been there, you've had your ups, you've had your downs, you've had, if nothing else is working, you have to give it a go.
Right.
What are you going to lose?
That's good. That's good. I appreciate that. I couldn't say any better than that. So that's good.
Just do it.
Just do it. Exactly.
I mean, do it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you just answering the questions. You're awesome. Appreciate it. And you, again, congrats to you. This is super. This is what fills me up, is being able to see people's lives change and just to get back to being moms, dads, grandparents, whatever it might be, or complete CrossFit athletes, or whatever they want to get back to. This is what fills me up. So I really appreciate you taking the time to answer those questions.
I hope Natalie's story encourages you. I hope it gives you hope to continue to seek out other ways of getting relief. The medical model is broken when it comes to chronic back pain. If you feel stuck, if you've had injections, you don't want to have surgery, you've had PT rounds, you've done chiropractic care, and none of these things are working, they're not going to eventually work. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you want some help, someone who has a system or has a process that maybe you haven't heard of before, all we got to do is jump on a simple live call to see if what I do can actually help. There's no harm in just having a simple conversation. If you are serious about getting help, go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. Fill out the simple application for us to have that live conversation so I can decide whether or not what I do can actually help you. I hope this video encourages you. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless, and I'll see you on the next episode.